Hello YouTubers, I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. I'm doing awesome and just out there making the most of my day, trying to generate some real estate business here in California. As you guys all know, the real estate market is kind of in the toilet. So, but I'm doing okay. So, and I'm happy to be here with you guys doing part 2 of the 80s on vinyl. And yeah, you know what? And I gotta say, it's just been awesome preparing for these videos and going through my albums and listening to them. And man, there's just so much great music that came out of the 80s, and just that I Want My MTV era or the Valley Girl. Yeah, it was just crazy time for music. So much good stuff out there. And I'm going to share what I have in my collection with you guys. So please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. I would greatly appreciate it. I know I'm enjoying the content, bringing it to you anyhow. So hopefully you feel the same. So let's get into it. So first up, we have Trineer. And Trineer was more like a house music or a freestyle. I'll be all you ever need. I know you want me. Catch 22, All Night. This is just a great album. She's out there touring. I see her at the local clubs from time to time. I hear she still looks great and sounds great. I've never, you know what? Actually, I did see her at a freestyle event here in Long Beach on the Queen Mary. Okay, next up, we're going to switch it up a little bit here. Wham. Yeah, George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley. Man, I really miss George Michael. I just loved Wham back in the 80s. I know that if George Michael was still alive, I'm almost certain that they would have done a reunion tour. I would have loved to see that. And those of you who are Wham fans, I'm sure you would have loved it too. But so this one is Edge of Heaven. And obviously, one of the songs on here is Edge of Heaven, Battle Stations, I'm Your Man, Blue, and then also Last Christmas. This is just a great album, and that's not even all the songs that I just mentioned on there. Okay, let's keep it going with Wham. Make It Big. And this is probably, I think this is their first album. And Wake Me Up Before You Go was that their first MTV video. That was pretty awesome. Everything She Wants, Heartbeat, Like a Baby, Freedom, just to name a few. Careless Whisper, big hit for them. Wham. And you know what? I did, so this is part 2 of the video. If you haven't seen part one, I'm going to post the link below. And I also did another 80s on vinyl for 12-inch singles and 12-inch singles, and I'll also post that link. Give them a watch. I think you'll like them as we continue on this journey through the 80s. Okay, this is the last of the Wham, but another great album in my opinion. Bad Boys, A Ray of Sunshine. They did a great remake of Love Machine. Club Tropicana, one of my favorite all-time Wham songs. Great album. Cool cover too, right? Okay. Wow, we're switching it up right and left here. Okay. The Blasters. Look at that. I just dig that cover. That's pretty much how Dave Alvin looks when he's playing. The Blasters are awesome. This is just a great album. Marie Marie, I'm Shakin', Border Radio, American Music, So Long Baby Goodbye, and that's just one side. This is just a great album. I highly recommend you add it to your collection. Okay. The B-52s. Man, these guys were just awesome. And man, I remember in my teens listening to this stuff, you know, hanging out with friends, drinking, doing whatever. And yeah, these guys were just awesome. This album has Big Bird on it, Butterbean, Whammy Kiss. You know, the B-52s actually started in the 70s. So Rock Lobster is a 70s song, and that, to me, that's pretty forward. I mean, that's just an amazing song, and to come out of the 70s, that was just amazing to me. Okay, Crowded House. Don't Dream It's Over is probably their biggest song, but this is a cool album. I really dig this cover, the colors, and just the album itself is just pretty awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay, this album is not so much the album itself was released in the 80s. It's a best of Sade, but her career was launched in the 80s with Smooth Operator, and but anyhow, she just had a great run in the 80s and into the early 90s. So I just figured I'd plug Sade with this album because it's the only one I got other than CD. All right. Now we got this crazy girl. Well, she wasn't so crazy back then, but Madonna, Like a Virgin. Yeah, this album is it's a cool album, and obviously Like a Virgin was her big hit on it. But there was also Angel, Over and Over. I think Material Girl's on this one. So just a great album, and I think she kind of created a stir on MTV when she performed Like a Virgin, and she was all rolling around on the ground in her wedding dress, and yeah, that's nothing compared to today, right? Okay, Madonna, Like a Virgin. Here is another one. Run DMC, Raising Hell. Every hip-hop guy out there or artist owes a little bit of thanks to these guys, because there was Sugar Hill and Curtis Blow before him. But Run DMC, this is just a great album. It's probably one of the cleanest. There's a little bit of profanity, but the content of it is basically clean. Peter Piper, It's Tricky, My Adidas, Walk This Way with Aerosmith. That was an awesome video. And Aerosmith owes them a little bit of thanks, because them doing that song helped to relaunch Aerosmith, and then they had a nice run after that. So Run DMC, Raising Hell. All right. Look who we have again. The B-52s. So this is Party Mix, and this has Party Out of Bounds, Private Idaho, Give Me Back My Man, Lava, Dance This Mess Around, 52 Girls. B-52s, man, they're just awesome. I think they're in Vegas right now, or they're coming to Vegas, something like that. But yeah, these guys just put out a lot of good music. Of course, you know, Rock Lobster, Quiche Lorraine, Love Shack, all those, you know, that was more poppy stuff. They're a little bit more original with this stuff. But the B-52s. All right. Peter Gabriel. In Your Eyes, probably the big hit on this album, but you know, I really dig this cover, and I actually really enjoy the album too. But Peter Gabriel, another awesome 80s album. This is the biggest album to come out of the 80s, I think. Unless the Eagles' Greatest Hits came out in the 80s too, then they beat them. But anyhow, this is just a huge album. Thriller. This is the picture disc. I don't have the one of the 58 million copies or so that everybody else has, that thinks it's just absolutely rare. But Michael Jackson, Thriller. And man, this guy was just amazing. Seen him on the Motown 25th anniversary where he moonwalked, and it was just the craziest thing. Now kids are just probably moonwalking and doing things with their feet that would just make Michael Jackson turn his head. But again, I mean, this was just a great album. Want to Be Starting Something, The Girl Is Mine with Paul McCartney, Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean, PYT, The Lady of My Life. What an album. I highly recommend you add it to your collection if you're not one of the 50-something million people that already have it. Okay, next up we have 10,000 Maniacs. Man, I just love the 10,000 Maniacs. And you guys might just know Natalie Merchant, but she comes from the 10,000 Maniacs. Had a few great albums with these guys in the 80s, and then she just went on to her solo career. But this has What's the Matter Here, Hey Jack Kerouac, Like the Weather. Just a great song. I mean, great album. It's got Peace Train on it. Great album. Love Natalie Merchant. She's on tour now. If you can afford the tickets, go see her. Here is another great album, and Dead or Alive. And I think this guy passed away some time ago. He went and got all this crazy surgery done to himself, and then I think he passed away. But he left us some great music, and this would probably be the album to have. Rip it up if you are going to get a Dead or Alive album. Brand New Lover, My Heart Goes Bang, Something in My House, Lover Come Back to Me, You Spin Me Round Like a Record. This album actually reminds me of The Wedding Singer too. So anyhow, just a great album. Takes me back to the 80s, and get it if you don't have it. Okay, here's another. I think this is her first effort, and whatever effort it is just a great effort. And this is Janet Jackson, Control. And of course, the song on here is Control, Nasty, What Have You Done For Me Lately, Pleasure Principle, When I Think of You, Let's Wait a While. This is just a fantastic album. Like her brother, she just kicks butt. Janet Jackson. All right. Oh, look what we have here again. Madonna. And this is her debut album. And man, it just started that whole 80s things where the girls wearing their hair like this, wearing all the bangles. Yeah, the leggings with the black boots. Yeah, Madonna was something. This was a great album. Lucky Star, Borderline, Burning Up, Holiday, Think of Me, Physical Attraction, and I think her breakthrough single was Everybody. And it's kind, you know what? It was kind of really, really cool at the time, that video. But when you look at it, there's really not much to it. But still, Madonna. All right. The Stray Cats, Rant and Rave. And the big song on this one is Sexy and 17. This one doesn't have Rock This Town on it. I have that one on CD. But it's just a cool cover, man, with him stealing hubcaps on it. Brian Setzer actually is, Brian Setzer's orchestra. I actually have that CD. But the Stray Cats, man, they were something back in the day. And it's got, look at that, it's got the little MTV logo on there. Stray Cats. All right, what do we have next? Loverboy. This is a great album. I liked it. The Kid is Hot Tonight. Lady of the 80s. Prissy Prissy. That song Turn Me Loose reminds me of my aunt, because he just, the song is Why Don't You Turn Me Loose? And he just, that's like the hook throughout the whole song. And one time my aunt was listening it was on the car, and she changed the radio. That was when they had those radios where you push the button and the needle went like that. And she pushed the button. She goes, damn, I wish they would turn you loose. My Aunt Ernestine, God rest her soul, man. She used to say the funniest stuff. Anyhow, Loverboy. Love these guys. Joe Sexton. This is the last of this part 2. This is just a great album, and I just dig that cover. Is that 80s hair or what? So this has Impressed, Pictures for Pleasure, Tell Me, Space. Anyhow, Joe Sexton. So that covers it for part 2 of the 80s. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have part 3 sitting right here. I'll get to work on that really quick and get that out next week. For you CD guys out there, I have a nice CD one coming up. I'm going to get that out to you within the next few days before part 3 of the 80s. So thank you guys so much for watching. Man, it just makes my day when I get the likes, when I get comments from you, and I get to answer you back, and then also the new subscribers. So anyhow, how do I leave you? Take care, and God bless you.